Right, well, let's see if we get anyone into this live. Again, I wasn't going to do one tonight, but just watched Lisa from Break the Mold Resin Arts premiere, and it got me inspired. So I thought, why not? Let's do something. And I've got a mold that I did a while ago, and I've never, to this day, demolded it. And it's been about 3 months. I'm hoping that the mold turns out. Otherwise, I won't have anything to paint. But this has been cured for about 2 months. So I don't know if we're going to get anyone in, because this was impromptu, wasn't planned, but we'll see. Why not? Sunday night, good way to wind down, I think, is to paint something. We'll see if it works. Have we got anyone in? Oh, we got Louise. Hello, Louise. Hope you're doing well. I'm just going to try and adjust the camera because I can see what you can see. And it looks a mess. So hopefully that's a bit better. We'll see when the camera moves. Just trying to keep it reasonably neat and tidy. But can you see my hand? Let's see if we've got anybody in. I know we've got Louise in. And we've got Frosty in. Hi, Frosty. I'm just making sure that you guys can see my hand. There we go. So let's get rid of the echo for a start. And hopefully I can catch up now. So let me just move the angle a little tiny bit. And let's see if you can see my hand. Here is a hand. I don't know what's going off. Normally I get to view it pretty much live. Can you let me know? Can you see me waving? Is it working or not? Because if it's not working, then there's not much point me doing this. Getting a few in already, which is great. Yes, hi Sandy. By the way, your parcel was returned to me today, Sandy. So I'm going to resend it. For some reason, they said I put the wrong postage on, even though I didn't. So I'm going to resend that tomorrow. So you will get it, Sandy. It's just going to be a bit later than usual. So I've been a little bit inspired. By the way, if you haven't seen something, let me show you something and ignore the mess. Look at this. Hello. Now, this is what I spent most of the weekend creating. Look at this. Really cool piece. That display mould. It's pretty full, though, already. Hi, Nikki. What do you think to that? Beautiful. And that was just simple pine wood, burnt with a blowtorch, sanded back, and then epoxied over. But I think it works well as a display stand. So there we go, let's get back over here. Ignore the mess. But yeah, I think it turned out really cool. So I'm just making sure you got a view. And I've got some Warhammer paints that I haven't had a chance to play with yet. So this is going to be a fun experiment, hopefully. I've not painted in over 25 years. And I used to do these little figurines from Warhammer when I was about 15. So over 25 years ago, guys. So it's going to be interesting to see if I can remember how. But the first thing I need to do is demold this gorilla, because if he hasn't turned out, then it's not going to work. And I don't know if it's a matte or a glossy mold or anything. So we're going to find out. It's quite a big piece, quite heavy. So I think the first stage, before I even think about the paints and the painting, is to demold him. So going by how floppy this is, I think it's going to be a matte mould. Hi, Heather. Nice to have you with us. So this, yep, it's definitely matte. Look, it's going to be a matte mould. So in that case, I'm very glad I'm painting him. And as I say, I did this about 2 months ago, and I still haven't demolded him yet until now. And always flip your moulds the right way around, straight after. Otherwise you could ruin them. So let's see, first of all, what we've got. Does it look like a gorilla? Have I got huge bubbles everywhere? And is he worth painting, first of all? He weighs a lot, though. So he's a... Oh, hello. Look at that for a silverback gorilla. And even though it's matte, there's still a bit of a shine to him. Look at him. Not a bubble on him. So I'm glad I finally demolded him. What do you think to this gorilla? There we go. That was my gorilla impression. So I think he's cool. But do you know what? In plain black, he's just a bit plain, you know? So I think we can improve on that. And I love the back as well. Look at them shoulders. You know, that's what I'm trying to get to, you know, get those shoulders. But let's have a look. I mean, he's turned out pretty cool. But I don't think he stands out enough for me. And I can just see some texture in the fur. So I think I am going to have to paint him. And what I might try is, you see where his pecs are? Just there. And this part of his nose and face. I might leave that, the natural resin, so it just has that natural shine to it. And then try and paint the rest. And the ears. What do you guys think? Is that a good idea? He's got my belly as well, look. So, here he is, that little gorilla. So, beautiful piece. I'm glad he turned out. So, let's see what I get in this set. So, I've got this set of Warhammer paints. These are the only colours I'm going to be able to use, because it's all that you get in the kit, and it's the only thing I've got. But I did get myself a dry brush as well. So, hopefully I remember how to do this. And Lula's been a great inspiration with this as well, from Nerd Goblin Art, because she's been doing a lot of painting, dry brushing, things like that. So what do I get in this set first for £24 sterling? That is the question. Oh, hello. So you get quite a few, which is good. And you get a brush as well. So get rid of the box. Thrown out. So it comes with one brush, and I'm hoping it's quite a detailed one. It is. Look at that. So it's quite detailed, pretty thin. I think that should work. Oh, this is going to end up being a mess. I can feel it. And then these are little snippers, but you know what? They'll be great for resin as well. Look at them. Very cool. I don't think I'm going to need them for him, because he actually demolded pretty well. There's nothing to snip off, which is interesting. And then it comes with, I think that's a deburring tool. Feels like it. Let me just have a look around the edge. Oh, it does. Yeah, it's a deburring tool. That's good, because I think a lot of the figurines are in plastic. So it's a little deburring tool. Very cool. Stops you having those sharp edges as well, guys. So let's just go around the edge. And this is actually going to be very useful, because I need to go over all of my pieces and make sure they've all been deburred. So there we go. He is pretty much deburred. No sharp edges now. There we go. So that's a useful tool that I didn't even know I got. There we go. And then let's have a look at these paints. So we got green. I don't think I'm going to need green. We've got red. Again, I don't think I'm going to need red. Now we have got that, which is a base colour, which is quite silvery. So that's a maybe. We've got something flesh that I can't quite read, but it looks quite dark and bronzy. Maybe. That, I think, is a brown. Base steel, Legion drab. It is a silverback, Nikki. Missing the silver at the minute, though. We've got Corax white, which I think I might need a tiny bit of that. Hoping there's a black of some sort in this. Bugman's glow. They don't really give away much with the names. What's this one? Aha! Abaddon black. So I think that'll be the base colour. And I'm going to paint over everywhere that I'm not going to leave shiny in that colour first. I don't think I'm going to need the blue. What's this? Ooh, that's pretty. But it's not a silverback. We have got a bit of a greyish colour. So that might be useful. I think I'm only going to need 3 colours for this. And we're going to go with the white, the grey and the black. And see if we can improve him. Although this is another shade as well, which is quite dark. Almost metallic. Agrax Earthshade. It's almost a brownie. I don't think I want brown in him. Just checking the others. No, don't need any other colours. No. Okay, so we're going to use the 3, I think. And then decide about anything else after. And this is mainly to see if I can remember how to paint, guys. So it's probably going to go horribly wrong because it has been so long. And I haven't got one of those magnifying glass lamps that I used to use. And my eyesight has probably got worse over the last few years, not better. So we'll see. I could do with a little bit more light. So let me see if I can turn my light up. And then we'll see if it dies as we carry on. But look at that, beautiful shine on him. And I can see some texture in that fur, which I'm hoping to be able to highlight. But I think the plan is, initially I want to give everywhere a base colour that isn't his pecs, and that isn't his nose and his eyes and his face, or his ears, I think. And then it should dry quite quickly, these paints, if I remember correctly. And I've just put the black away. Hang on, we need the black. I don't know why I left that one out. That's more of a bronze. Oh dear, this has not started out right. Here we go. So I've got the black, which is the Abaddon black. Coco. Oh, I've heard of Coco the gorilla. Here we go. He looks like a Kong to me. Interestingly, guys, I've actually got a gorilla tattooed on the back of my leg, if you didn't know. But I think the details in him are pretty cool, especially since that's just resin that's created that so far. But let's see if we can add some more texture. So I think first thing to do is try and open this without getting it everywhere. Is there a special knack? I don't think there is. What's this? Maybe it's that. There we go, it's open. We got the first one open. Here we go. And I didn't get it on my fingers. Look at that. Magic. Sorry, Lula, I didn't mean to steal your catchphrase. And it was just a mould from Temu, this, but I saw it and I've always loved gorillas. When I was younger, I wanted to be a zoologist, interestingly, or a vet. But I didn't study hard enough at school, so unfortunately, that didn't happen. Now, I've just got a spare piece of resin by the side of me, which was a black coaster. I'm just going to wipe it off, and I'm going to use that as something to mix my paints on if I need to. So, I'm not going to need to mix a lot here, because it's just going to be black. And depending on what this goes on, I might decide to go over his pecs and his face, or I might not. So, it's going to be hard to see where I've actually put the paint, because I'm using a black coaster. Probably not the best idea. But I can see a tiny drop of water in there as well, just to water it down a little bit. And then we're going to try and just put some on. It's not making a huge difference, but it is creating a bit more of a shine. I'm just trying to go over the fur initially. And this, I can't believe I've got people actually tuning in, watching me paint, you know. And actually, it is a glossier shine, look at that, than the resin. So I'm thinking to do the whole thing in this colour, just so I get a shine. And it's going to be easier to just put it everywhere to give us that base coat of paint. Again, you don't want a thick coat, because if you do that, you're going to lose the detail. So I think, and I can't see the chat, guys, I'll pre-warn you. Because of the way my camera's angled, I can't see the chat. So I'm just going to paint this whole thing in black, which is interesting because I use black resin anyway, so it shouldn't really need a lot of a coat. But I want to make sure I'm getting everywhere, because anywhere I don't get, it's going to be pretty obvious. So here we go, just putting a thin coat on. And this is going to be the first layer of, I think, 2 or 3. And I'm just making sure that I'm not missing anywhere. But I think he's going to turn out really cool. And that's why I'm just taking a little bit of time to make sure I get this thin coat everywhere. And this is almost acting like a base coat. So again, just mixing it around and trying to remember where I've gone, which is quite difficult on a black mold, a black piece of resin. So I'm having to use the shine to sort of tell me where I've gone and where I've missed. But the great thing is with these paints, if I remember correctly, they do dry quite quickly. So we should be okay. Just going to add a tiny bit of water to it and a bit more paint. And then we're going to go under his chin. And this is, as I say, the first coat, hopefully of 2 or 3. And this one, because it's the base layer, as long as I've got everywhere covered, it shouldn't matter how it goes on. But it is giving him a better shine. So I'm almost turning the paint into a bit of a wash by adding a bit of water to it as well, which is something I used to do all the time on my base coats if I only needed them to be thin. And Lula's probably shouting at me now if she's in chat, telling me not to do it. But I used to, and it used to work quite well. So here we go. This is the easiest bit because I don't need to concentrate on much apart from getting a coat everywhere. But you can just see the shine it's giving him versus the matte effect that we had before. And I think he's going to turn out absolutely stunning. And anybody can do this, guys. Anybody, you know. This part is dead simple. I'm just using my paint and going around the whole thing. And the next part should be pretty simple as well, to be fair. Look at those biceps. He's a big gorilla. But again, by adding water, I'm probably going to delay the actual time it's going to take to dry. I didn't think about that. Hey ho. And I'm not going to use a heat gun on him because it might melt the resin. So just continuing. And I'm sorry guys, this probably isn't the most exciting part of any video for you guys, but hopefully you're enjoying chat. And hopefully there's a lot of gossip going off in chat to keep you entertained whilst I just finish painting this base coat. And then hopefully it should get a bit more interesting. But again, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anywhere. So everywhere's got that base coat of this beautiful black. Bum, bum. And we're going to have to think of a name for him as well, guys, in case he does turn out well. Can't be Kong though, because that's a bit too obvious. What about, has anybody seen that film, Gorillas in the Mist? There was one in there that I really liked called Digit. What about if we name him Digit? Gordon, okay, Gordon the gorilla. Great suggestion. Hi, Michelle. Now, I do apologise in advance, but if this goes much past the hour, I'm going to have to stop because as part of my new routine, I'm up at 5 every day and going to the gym. It was a great movie, and I think that's when I first fell in love with gorillas, you know. Gorillas in the Mist. Was it about Diane Fossey, the zoologist? Great film, though. If you've not seen it, obviously don't watch it if you don't want to see some sad things happen as well, because unfortunately it's all about the story of the mountain gorillas in Rwanda and the poachers, unfortunately. Right, we've done his head. Now it's just his back. Need to make sure that I've not missed any. So I'm just putting him back under the light so I can see where I've gone and where I haven't. And again, just making sure everywhere has at least a little covering of this black. And again, if you're doing this, don't use a black coaster if you're using black paint. Probably not the most sensible thing to do. Can't miss his bottom either. And yes, I said bottom on alive. He's actually got a bubble on his bottom, I've just noticed. But anyhow, it won't be that noticeable when he's done, I'm sure. And then just around this part of his leg, and I think we'll be about there. I just need to check the other side. And I think, at least, at this point, it looks like I've covered most of it with this paint. And if not, I've used a black resin underneath, so it shouldn't be too obvious. But I think it does just give him an extra shine. And I've missed that part. And who doesn't like a shiny gorilla? Never thought I'd be saying that on a live. Here we go. Just one more coat. And then I think he will be covered enough, I think, to go on to that next stage. So hopefully his head will be dry and I can touch it. It is. You can just see the extra shine that paint's given him, and I have missed his feet. So I'm just going to do that now. And obviously onto his fingers, because they should actually be the shiniest. Oh, his fingers, his toes, they should shine the most, as well as his pecs. But that's the easy bit, this is. This is just giving everything a bit of a base coat and then waiting a second or two for it to dry. And just go under there. But I think he's a lot shinier now than what he was. And yes, I've got it on my fingers. I'm just going to hopefully get the black off my brush. Right, so now we're going to let him dry for a second. And I'm going to have a look at the chat. So if I missed anything in chat, guys, I can see it. I've stood up for a second. Have I missed anything, or have we just been talking gorillas? I can't even see how many we've got in, actually, at the minute. Because of the angle of my phone. Let me move it. Oh, we've only got 13. Why are we painting a black gorilla black? Just to give him a bit more shine, Nikki. So shiny. And then hopefully we're going to highlight some details next. It's not just going to be black, I promise. And I'm going to have to get the black off my fingers. Look at this. So I'm thinking for the next colour, I don't want to grey it too much yet. So what I'm going to do is mix the black with the grey and hopefully give us a different colour to dry brush, but I can still see that shimmer. Look at him. Who's got my bananas? Oh dear, I think I'm going mad, guys. So I'm just going to give him 1 second to dry off. And then I'm going to mix another colour, which is combining a bit of that grey with the black, just to give us a slightly fainter look, just for to go around the fur. Now his head is definitely dry now. Look at that, perfectly dry, so that's okay. So I'm going to get a bit of this colour, which is the Technical Astro Granite, which I think will be too light for me at this point. Oh no, that is actually a building paste, guys. So don't think that's a paint. Let's have a look. Oh no, it is a paint. It's okay. I'm going mad. So give me some of this Astro Granite. It's definitely a paint. There's no granite in it. It's just the way it's formed. So I'm going to need quite a bit of this. So again, just going to mix it around like so. And I think that'll be enough, because I'm not going to be using this brush for this, but I don't want to waste any of it either. So I'm just going to get most of it off my brush and then rinse. And then I'm going to add a bit of the black to it, just to darken it a touch. Not going to use my dry brush just yet. And who's enjoying this, eh? The highlight of the week, painting a gorilla with Andy. So again, I'm just going to get 1 dab of the black on the end of my brush and mix it in. And hopefully that will just darken it a touch, because these paints do mix. You see how that's gone a shade darker? I still want it a shade darker than that. So I'm going to add another bit of black. I'm trying my best not to mix my paints as well whilst I'm doing it. Let's get it 1 shade darker and I think we'll be there. That's better. And then just going to try and move it all into the centre. There we go, that's a much darker shade for the first lot of dry brushing. Now we shouldn't need a lot of paint for dry brushing, so I'm pretty confident that should be enough. Again, just moving it all around, mixing it into the centre so I know where to dip my dry brush. And I'm happy with that as a shade. And I'm just going to start with his head, I think. Now this, again, first time I've used this dry brush. Slightly firmer bristles on it. And I'm going to see. Now Lulu gave me a tip to use wood. So I'm going to try and use a bit of wood to get off the majority of the paint. Rather than kitchen roll, which is what I always historically used. And I'm just going to try and highlight some of these details on the fur on his head, because I know that bit's dry. So not a lot, just a tiny bit of the paint on there. And then you want to brush most of it off. And then I'm going to have a look and just try and gently see if I can highlight some of these details. Maybe a touch more paint. Not too much though. Otherwise it will stand out. But he is a silverback gorilla, guys. Oh, it's working now. I can start to see some of those details. But the trick is with dry brushing is not to be too heavy. And just do it in thin layers if you need to. And I'll show you guys a close-up in a minute of what this is actually doing. And I'm trying to be careful to just dry brush the areas where I think there's fur. And you can probably just see on that head a slightly different shade or not. But that's the idea. And now I need to dry brush all of the areas where there's fur. So again, just brush most of the paint off. And then I just want to highlight some details around his face as well. For the fur. And hopefully you'll see it pop as we go lighter with colours. But I'm pretty confident it's working. Again, brush most of it off and then just lightly brush around. And then we're going to do this in a couple of coats. So this one is going to be the bulk of it, but then we need to highlight certain areas as well. Who would have thought on a Sunday night you'd be watching me paint a gorilla? But yeah, it is definitely going on a different shade, and it is highlighting the areas that I want and leaving some of them darker. But the main thing when you're dry brushing is make sure you take your time and go over all of the areas that you want to be slightly lighter. And it is coming back to me now. So hopefully we should be okay. And if you do go a little bit heavy in an area, just go back over it. You know? Doesn't have to be perfect, and I think that's why dry brushing really works, because it just highlights some simple details and it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to give you those different shades. But for me, it's working. And I'll show you the difference in a minute. And at this point, as I say, it's just dry brushing onto the fur where I don't want it quite as black. Being careful to leave the black shiny areas that I do want to stay shiny. And don't forget, this is just the first layer of the dry brush. I think there's probably going to be 2 or 3. Just to really bring out some of these details. But take your time, you know, it should be hopefully an enjoyable experience. And a relaxing one, you know. It's relaxing for me. Now let's have a look at his front. Right, over this bicep here. Now I'm going a little bit heavier on his arms because I think gorillas, especially silverbacks, they look a little bit lighter on their arms. And the reason they call it dry brushing is because your brush is very dry when you're doing it, you know, there's not a lot of water. Tiny bit. But it should still apply enough of the paint to anywhere that's raised. Need to get his belly as well without getting his pecs. And I do want him to be slightly different shade on his belly, so it shows hopefully the different layers. I think I'm going to leave his neck the way it is. Just add a little bit more to this face around here. And then I'm going to give you guys a bit of a close-up, and hopefully you'll see at least a bit of a difference. And I don't expect this to be perfect. It's the first time I've painted anything in over 20 years. But it is just giving him a bit more of a silvery twang. And as I say, this is by no means the last coat. And the light has just gone out, guys. Let me see if I can get my flash on. Oh dear. Oh, where's flash? It's not letting me show you the flash. Well, this is fun. Can you see a difference now if I show you? Probably not without that light. Okay. There's got to be a way. In fact, aha. Let's get the light back, shall we? Because you're not going to be able to see this without it. And this cord isn't very long. Things I do for this channel. Can I mount it on there somehow? In fact, where's the U? I've got an O-ring somewhere. Right, let's see if I can rest that on there, because the clips aren't working. Sorry about this, guys. Battery ran out. This was an impromptu live, which I wasn't planning on doing. But here we go. And he said, let there be light. Hello. There we go. So we've got light again now. And it's hard to show you on the camera, but it's definitely a different shade. And it's just leaving those darker areas dark at this point. I'm liking it so far though. Now I want to go a bit lighter. So I'm going to use this paint here. I'm just going to add a drop of water to it. And a bit of white. Now this is where it should really show us those different colours. Let me just rinse that off. In fact, I need to mix this paint because it doesn't look very mixed inside these. So I'm just going to mix it around a little bit. It's almost a grey white. It's very strange. Okay. Add a little bit to this. I think that'll be enough. Get rid of that. And let's see what colour this makes. There's enough water on there with the grey. Trying to get all of it mixed. And you can see much lighter shade now. Just by adding that white. Let me have a look. That compared to that is definitely a few shades lighter. So now I'm going to dry brush again those same areas, but with this new lighter colour. I don't know if anyone's still in chat. Well, we've got 17. Hi, Claire. Just spotted you come in. So again, just getting a bit on the brush, not a lot. And then brushing most of it off onto this piece of wood so that all I've got left is the faintest bit of this paint. And now, again, just going over the areas that I want to highlight on this beautiful silverback. And it's the building up of the coats that I really think makes this technique work. It's the different coloured effect, because this one I'm not going to go over as much of the area that I did the last one, but it should still give us a lighter. Now his head is the bit where I really want to make sure it's really faint, because unfortunately not all of his fur sticks out on this mould, but some of it does. And I think it's enough to show his fur. And there is going to be a weird final step to this as well. So again, just going to go over the bits where I want it to be highlighted more. And it doesn't use a lot of paint, this, because literally most of it you're just getting off your brush. And let's hope it's worth it at the end and we get a good piece. At this point, I'm not convinced. We'll see. If not, it's been a fun way to spend an evening anyway. Quite relaxing. I love dry brushing as a technique because it is very, very relaxing. And it doesn't involve a lot of skill on a mould like this, I don't think. It's just highlighting the areas that you want that little bit lighter. And it should highlight these textures really well. I don't know if you can see better or worse now we've got this ring light, but I can definitely see a colour difference here. I'm going to give you a close-up in a sec. Just want to get his belly done. Now that's a little bit heavy, so I don't want it too heavy on his belly. There we go. Better. Again, taking care to just try and avoid any bits that I want to stay nice and shiny, but making sure that everywhere else has had a little dry brush in this colour. I don't know if you can see the shade difference yet, but I think it's really bringing out the fur now and leaving his packs. Can you see? Or not? Let me know. Right, so that is, he's looking a bit more silvery, but not enough yet. So I'm going to add some more white. Good dollop. And this should go really light now. Again, just mixing it all in, making sure it's all mixed, so it's all the same colour. Now this is really, it's not white, it's an off-white now. And I think this could be the final shade, except for some highlights that I might do in white. So round here to me should be brighter. And this is where it all goes horribly wrong, guys. I hope not. Right, so that's most of that paint gone. Yep. So now I'm just going to go along his head. Oh, you can see this now. Just to show you. Just really faintly highlighting these details. And you're trying to go in an almost opposite direction to what it's naturally going. You can see. But I do think it's adding some nice details too. Again, just being conscious that I don't want to get it on his brows. I mean, it wouldn't matter if I did, because I could always go over it. And again, don't take this as a tutorial. This is the first time I've done anything like this in 20 odd years. But I am liking the way he's looking. Again, just with a few of these areas highlighted. Shoulders should be a little bit highlighted for me. And I think he's now getting that proper silverback tone. Oh, thanks for that, Dawn. It's been definitely been a while. I've just seen that pop up in chat as I'm trying to highlight him. Hope you're okay, Dawn, as well. I've seen a few messages pop up saying that they hope you're okay. So, again, I don't know exactly what's gone off, but I hope you're all right. Here we go. He's getting there, isn't he? But you can just see how much more texture we've got versus that plain black resin. Already, he's looking more like a silverback to me. What do you think? Is it getting there? But again, the key is you want to wipe off almost all of the paint when you dry brush. So there's virtually none on the brush. And then you're just almost tickling the surface. Look. A few highlights there. I think he's got some bulging biceps around here as well. Let me know what you think, guys. Is this kind of thing interesting? I know it is for me, but not everyone in the resin art community wants to see me painting a gorilla. Yeah, it was a mould. I got the mould off of Temu, Dawn. I've just seen that pop up. And sorry if I miss any of your questions, guys. I'm trying to concentrate on this at the same time. But I think it looks better than it did. Just with these different shades. It gives it almost an extra bit of realism, I think. And it really highlights the details, which otherwise I don't think you'd see, you know? Which, for a mould like this, is such a shame because they spent the time, the mould makers, getting the details in, and you want to be able to see them. So I think that I'm pretty happy with. So I want him to be slightly darker at the bottom anyway. Thanks, Lula. So what do you think to my dry brushing? Is it going all right? Not done it for a while. Good. Right, now I think I want one more shade lighter, but I'm not going to go over all the mould. I'm just going to think about which way he's looking and which way the sun would naturally fall on this silverback. So I think he's looking that way. So the sun's probably coming from here. So I think I want him a bit lighter on this side. Just making sure that I've highlighted all the details that I want highlighted. But look at that, in his back, you can really tell where I haven't highlighted down the centre. And it kind of shows you that fur more. Look at that. More of a silverback. Right, okay. Now I think for me, this is probably going to be the last shade I go. So again, I want it lighter again. And I'm just looking, before I do that, if there's anywhere where I want to highlight a little bit more whilst I've got this colour on the brush. I'm happy with that. So let's go a shade lighter. Should have called this 50 Shades of Grey, you know. What do you think? 50 Shades of Grey? Right, one more. Dollop of the white, maybe two. That should do. And this, I want to be a lot lighter, which it is, so that's good. 50 Shades of Grey with Andy. Oof, exciting. Right. Alexa, stop. All right. And I think this should, hopefully, be the last shade. And I'm just wondering if I should do the tip of his nose or not. And his brows. Don't know, but you can see all these different shades we've just created. I didn't read the book either, Nikki. I watched the film. But there we go. Oh, this is going to be a cool coaster on its own. So again, most of that paint's off. Still a little bit too much, so again, get it off of my skin. Oh, I'm going to need a wash. And then I'm just going to look at him, and I want to almost highlight certain areas, but not others. Maybe around there as well. Slightly heightened area. I think around his shoulder here as well, where he's got those big biceps. I think that would naturally be a bit brighter. Here as well. Maybe not so much because of the way he's sat. Definitely along there. But I think he's looking a bit more like a silverback now. I want a little bit on the surface of his belly as well. Now that was a little bit strong, so I'm going to try and brush it out. But you know what, I'm quite happy with the way he's looking now. Again, not highlighting every area with this one. I'm just going over the bits that I think could naturally stick out, where his muscles are, Following the shape of his body almost. And there we go. A few hours of painting. And we're transforming a silverback. Well, what was pretty plain, to be fair. It was a pretty plain looking black gorilla into, hopefully, a piece of art. And again, I don't want to go heavy. Just want to highlight the bits that I think would stand out and pop a little bit more in the sun. I'm really happy with him now. I don't think I want to do any more, he says. Look at that. Look at the difference. You know, he's got those natural greys, different shades going through him now. What do you think to that now? Honestly, I don't know if I want to change anything else. What do you think? I just think it gives it a lot more texture. Now, gorillas also have really dark eyes, so I don't think I'm going to do his eyes. I think I like the fact that his pecs are shiny still, his face is shiny, and we've just got that fur technique going all the way around now through dry brushing him. But what do you think? Do you like him like that? They have red-brown eyes. I knew somebody was going to say that. Okay. KD. Let's see if I've got a red-brown. I think I've got a reddy browny colour. And any red will come up browny anyway because it's on black resin. Let me have a look. Well, I'm going to do something a little bit crazy then. I've got a base red and I've got a base Retributor armour. So let's add those two together. Maybe with a touch of black and see what colour we get, okay? Oh, is this brush going to be small enough? Oh, I hope so. Oh, it's going to be close. Let's get the colour mix first. Oh my, this is going to be close. Okay, we're going to try it. So, give me some red. Not going to need a lot of this, that's for sure. And I like this sort of bronzed effect. Don't know what it will go like with the red, but we'll see. Tiny drop of the bronze, which is almost a brownie colour. Mix these together and see what we get. Sort of a reddy brown colour. Oh, this is going to be fun. Almost, but a little bit skew with. So, I'm going to have to try and fix it. Because the eyes are the most important part for me of any animal. Okay. I don't mind that. I think it's looking, the eyes are looking pretty red, but I've just gone over it a little bit, so I need to go over that with a tiny bit of the black. And then I'm going to see if I can use a toothpick to just put a dot of white on as well. Who knows? I should be in bed right now, guys. Hey ho. We started the live. We're going to finish the live. So you can see where I've gone slightly over. I'm just going to go over it. Touch of black. Woo! That's better. That's not over now. You can see those eyes. Look into my eyes. Look into my eyes. Not around the eyes, but into the eyes. You're gone. Anyway. Ooh. Right, so I can see his eyes now. Aren't they usually a chocolate brown? Right, so to make the red go brown, let me try something. Give me a bit of the black in that red. Let's add a bit of water, quite a bit of water, because I want this almost like a wash. Just after 10, I think you'll find Lula. Here. Oh, is that the blood moon? Sorry, I thought you was talking about the actual time. Okay, they're slightly dulled down now. Better? What do you think? More natural? Right, now just to finish him off, I'm going to try darker brown. I don't think so. I think if you're looking at this in natural light, I think that's dark enough. Honestly, I think if we go any darker, you'll lose any redness. So you'll have to trust me on it, guys. But where's my toothpicks? Right. Now, instead of going white, because I don't think it needs to be white. Let's just see if I can add. I love that. I'm not changing it. Honestly, in real life, it's beautiful. I don't think they're bad, guys. It's kind of a darkish red. The left still looks a little bit too red. You can't please everyone, can you? Let me just have a look at this in natural light. Honestly, I think any darker, you'll lose them completely. I think that is pretty cool. He's got that glint in his eyes. And I don't have a brown wash. If I had a brown wash, I'd probably go over it. Okay, I'm going to do it. One more coat. And now we're going to ruin the glint. Oh. Does dry a little bit darker, but no, we're going to do it. Now, because I've watered this down so much, it's almost acting like a wash. Well, I'm not risking it anymore. I think they look pretty cool. I love the glint. If you're looking at him face on, I think he's perfect. So That's the way I'm doing him. That's the way he's staying. Have we thought of a name quickly? Yeah, I'll probably take a picture. Oh, Katie's saying stop. Okay. Gus. Oh, I forgot his nips, guys. How could I forget his nips? Right there and there. Oh. Oh, just a tiny shade. All right, let's get rid of the most of the paint. Arthur. What's his nip doing all the way around there? This is going to be very tricky. I'm going to try and dry brush it with the normal brush. Because I just want to get the tip. There we go. They're now slightly highlighted. I'm happy with him. I don't want to do anything else apart from, I think I should cover him in resin. What do you think? I don't think I want to do anything else to him apart from maybe cover him in resin to give him a bit more of a shine. But I quite like the matte effect now with the paint. But the resin would also seal the paint in. Spray varnish, that's a good option. I'll get some tomorrow. I'll get some spray varnish. But what do you think? Do you like him? Okay, I'll get some varnish, guys. I'll get some spray varnish. But yeah, I think it turned out really cool. And that dry brushing really brought out the detail in his fur. And I think he now looks more like a silverback. I'm glad you think he's cool. Morris. Oh dear. But I hope you've enjoyed that, you know, because that was an impromptu live. Hang on. Let's get back over here. Ooh, that's pretty. Look at that. Fancy seeing that. Beautiful. But there we go. That was been my big project this weekend, to get that finished. And I think it looks so cool. And I didn't do a video on how I made it. I wish I had. But literally all I did is a pine... Yes, barefooted. All it was a pine blanket box. I cut the shape in, got a blowtorch, torched it, sanded it back down, and then put the resin over to give us this beautiful, almost antique effect. Look at it. Hopefully it will stand out in a shop somewhere. Yeah, you're not going to get to see my feet, guys. I'm glad you think he looks like a silverback. Look at him. Oh, look at me now. Oh, do I look like silverback? Here he is. So happy with him now. Such a cool monkey. Got that beautiful shine as well, thanks to the resin. So good. So, we're going to leave it there. Don't forget, though, on Tuesday... Sorry, I meant ape. Tell you what, do you want a treat? You're not going to get to see my whole leg, but look at that. There's a Kong on my leg, guys. So I do like gorillas. Very cool Kong. But back to this guy as well. But yeah, I think that's it now. We're going to call it a day. I did say Kong. But yeah, I think he turned out really cool. I don't want to name him Kong just because I've got a Kong on my leg. I think Digit. I really liked Digit. I don't shave my ankles. I def have the set. Thanks for that. But no, I just think adding that paint has added a lot more to him. So I'll let you lot argue about the names. And don't forget on Tuesday, we've got Lisa on the live. But Lisa from Girl in the Garage, all the way from Australia. So it'll be G'day Lisa. So if you can make it, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. on the Resin Q&A live. Oh, I like Gidget actually. That's a cross between the two. I didn't see what Lula put. So cool. Yeah, she's great from Girl in the Garage. So her and Karen, I think, are the ones that have really spearheaded the Froggy Fridays from the start. And I know we've got other people involved now as well. Look at him. Why is everybody calling me a Muppet all of a sudden? Oof. But there he is. So it's good night from me. And it's good night from this guy. Gidget or Digit or whatever we're going to call him. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Bye-bye.